All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is March 14th, 2003, and it's time for some deja vu because the stream messed up. But we are back, and it is day 33 of the KNKL stream. My name is Keenan Lafferty. Today we're going to be jumping right back into working on our lovely comic, Emma. We're going to be working on I don't know if it's a never-before-seen page, but you definitely haven't seen it in the current state that it is at right now. But before we get into that, we need to take a stroll down lovely lane because we have an awesome thing that was submitted to us from Ozzy Burke. Thank you once again for submitting this. It's about the philosophy of creating comics, and I highly recommend that you all go to the Facebook and check it out for yourself because it is very awesome, very inspirational. So thank you, Ozzy, for your submission, and we are going to go ahead and jump right into the comic. But first, I'd like to take a moment and thank this month's donators. All of you, all these lovely people here. If you'd like to get your name on this list, simply go to emmacomiconline.com and then click the little buttons tab, and then you can donate as little or as much as you want, and I'll feature your name here throughout the month. And if you contribute a lot, you'll get a nice little sparkly name right there. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started, but first, one more thing that I have to do is I must share with you some interesting news that happened. We got some amazing things in, and it's not pizza. I'm showing people, people already saw this twice, so it's going to be not as epic. Actually, maybe it will be. It'll be even better this time. Because we got the awesome prince in. The Holy Grail is here upon us. Gaze upon it with me. It is our Golden Buttons print number 1 Emma cover. And these are going to be going on sale in the next couple weeks. So you guys, ready your booties for that. And that's going to be awesome. We got 90. Limited run of 90 of those. And there will be some more news on those before they go on sale. So if you want to get a low number, I will let you know exactly when they're going to be going up. So, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right back into this. Because as much as I am excited to sell the posters, I made my priority finishing part 1 of issue 2, right? Because we've all been waiting. We've all been waiting for way too long, and it's high time we get this thing going. It's high time we release. We release. And that is very, very good. So now we're back to where we were. That's very good. And we've got a fly buzzing around. That's awesome. Probably going to try to catch that a couple times throughout the stream. I will slap it. Epic fly slap. That's what I get when I leave my doors open. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be kind of changing a couple things in the background, right? Because they're supposed to be a lot closer to this house. A couple pages in, you'll see the scale of the house, and it's supposed to be much, much bigger. Much bigger. So, I got to move this thing up. Yeah, I'm going to have to basically move this entire thing up. They're not even going to see the roof, really. We'll see, like, the edge of it. Because this is going to be the balcony right here. We're going to go ahead and do that. Good. Freaking fly. Oh my gosh. Freaking thing. You ever seen like the flies that like buzz around the newscasters and stuff? They like land on their face and they have to like not react to it. Well, that's not what I do here. I will try to kill it. I will try to kill it. Of course, because the newscaster kills a fly and everybody's like, what did it do to you? How dare you? I'm not watching this programming anymore. But here, if you stand in the way of my show, I will take you out. Whether you are a terrible internet service provider or a fly, I will mess you up. Alright. So, okay, so that's looking much better. So I like the balcony being right here. That looks much better. Yeah. We'll kind of have like some edges kind of sticking off there. Not too close that we have a tangent. Remember, we don't want to do that. And, oh, also, another thing that we're going to be talking about today is notice how our color palette is all very orangey. I'm going to talk to you guys about a good way to get introduce some like cooler colors into it. That way you have a nice rounded out color palette, right? You can see like it's basically like orange throughout the whole thing. And if we look at the entire page, Just like all reds. And I mean, there's some blues in here, and those are strategically chosen for the shadows. You also got to have a little bit in the backgrounds. That way it doesn't look too monochromatic. And I will show you the way. I will show you the way. So get ready for that. Oh yeah, and I forgot to tell you guys about like the posters. They're also going to have not just the awesome stickers on them, but they're going to be hand signed and like a golden permanent marker by me. And then on the front and the back, and on the back you're going to have a one-of-a-kind sketch. But I'll have like a whole nother video that's talking about and basically like playing those up, making them sound awesome so everybody wants to go out and buy them. And buy me tacos. Buy me more tacos at Del Taco. That'll make me really happy. Alright. You see me do that? I was like, I almost got him. I'm going to get him by the end of the stream. Almost boxed my ear. Oh, that's awesome. Enemy number 1. Alright, so I'm going to draw a couple little breaks in the wood here too. Probably shouldn't worry about it too much because I mean you probably can't even see the stupid fly like buzzing around. This is one of them. It's better than a bee. If it was a bee that landed on my ear, I would freak out. I would literally scream like a little girl, and then we would not be able to release this on YouTube. That would be a secret stream. Instant secret stream when a bee lands on my face. Alright. So let's go ahead and like draw a little crack in this window back here. Because this is the apocalyptic universe. And no window will survive. No window has survived. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Let's go and throw that right back there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some color just at the edge here to represent the roof kind of behind. You know, the roof happening there, right? The roof behind the other roof. And then this will be kind of broken off into like some little chunks. More chunks, more chunks. Alright, and I dare say I like that. Draw a little light there, that way we have like nice perspective going back there. Looks good. Do I like that? That's okay. There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about backgrounds, okay? So I'm going to show you guys again how to add some extra color into your backgrounds. Basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm eyedropping from another panel that you guys can't see because it's secret. It's a little too far ahead and I don't want to give it away. But I'm basically going to show you what colors I'm using here. We're going from this, right, which is kind of like a desaturated kind of pink, and we're going to be going to a little bit more red, right? See, it's more orange and saturated, and what this is going to do is it's going to add another value to our background, and it's going to look very, very nice. It's going to look quite nice, and then from there we can add some color to it, and it will begin to look like grass. And I'll add that same kind of value over here. It's looking pretty good. Okay, now I'll show you guys how to add green to your picture, right? Because we're working with color relativity. Watch what I do here. I'm basically going to go from this color, right? And I'm going to push it towards green, but I'm not going to go to green. I'm going just more towards it, right? And we're going to kind of grab this color here, right? So it's kind of like a lighter yellow. And watch what happens. When I lay this on top of this piece, it is going to simulate kind of like the greenish grass being affected by the sunlight, right? And it's going to add just that extra little bit of color that we're looking for into our palette, right? I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit of desaturated kind of bluish gray. Like, look at this. Kind of desaturating, and it looks gray, right? Let's zoom in on that. Zoom in on that and take a look. See how that looks gray? It's actually not. It's just very desaturated red. And that's going to add some nice variation to the ground. Good, good. And then we'll follow that up with some background elements, like some trees and stuff. Kind of just drawing some shapes there. And let's draw the montañas. Los montañas. Good, good, very good. There you go. See? Now we've instantly added in a little bit more color and kind of balanced out our palette for the picture. And I love balanced palettes. I love it when everything is not monochromatic. That makes me very happy. And another thing that I like to do is I'll go into the clouds and I'll add some extra, like some different tones in here, like some extra values, right? Especially on the edges, because we kind of want to pull our readers like in this way, you know, kind of in towards here. So we want to make sure that the edges of our panel is just a little bit darker. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in, look at this color, desaturated kind of purplish red, right? We're going from this, right? And we're going all the way down to here and desaturating it to this. This is going to give us like a very, very deep gray. And it's going to look very, very nice right next to that orange because it's going to balance it and it's going to look nice. Nice! Go and throw in some other little clouds there. You can see very quickly our picture is coming together. So we've gone from this, right? See how it's all just like kind of dingy and just like a white wash, or it's not whitewash, but it's just washed out with like yellows and oranges. And this, now we have some nice, you know, it's still very, very monochromatic, but there's like a good balance in there too. So it looks a little bit more natural. So another thing that I'm going to do here is because this house is closer to us, I'm going to start adding in some darks. Start adding in some darks because, again, remember, the way that the atmosphere works is things that are closer to you will appear darker because there's less atmosphere in the way. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and darken this whole entire house. Let's go ahead and make sure we're clipped so it doesn't go outside what we want. Oh. Actually, I think what I want to do is actually make that a multiply. Yeah, let's make that a multiply. It'll look nicer. It's kind of ugly. Go ahead and grab this. Alright, that's a little better. Ooh, that actually looks really nice. Again, I like kind of how it looks next to like the darkness with the lighter character in front of it. I actually kind of like that. It still creates a nice silhouette. As opposed to without it. I don't know. Which one do I like more? Decisions. I think I'll add in a little bit of light kind of hitting these areas here. I'll kind of erase like this area, kind of going up into the house. So yeah, I'll have it like this. I'll have it so there's like light here. I'll have it so there's a lot of light in this area. But I'll make it so that way Nico himself actually has some light behind him and then the rest of the house is kind of shaded in. So I like that. Let's go ahead and flip that, make sure everything looks pretty good. And again, this is fairly rough, but we're just kind of taking a look at it. See how it makes us feel. Squint your eyes and can you tell still what's happening? My answer is yes. So I'm going to go ahead. But I love this up here. Like, guys, this is like one of the biggest things that you can learn how to do. It's how to mix like colors. How to mix like colors. Take like an orange, right? And then when you mix it with like a desaturated red, it looks blue. Isn't that interesting? Color relativity at work. Very interesting. Interesting. And you know what I say about that? I like it! Now, since this is a balcony, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a little bit more like just lighter shapes underneath here. So it looks like the boards underneath the balcony. Yeah. Yeah! Ha ha! Like it! Yeah, let's put a little bit of extra light over here because we have the house being affected by this light as well. All right. Some harsh light right there where the sun's hitting it, and some light right there. Oh, let's make sure we're clipped properly. And let's see, what else do I want to do? I'm going to throw in like a little window up here. Maybe I do. Little sliding glass window up here. I think that'll be cool. Yeah, I think I like that. Put a nice crack in it. I said crack. Alright, put some shadow there. Alright, so you can see very quickly our picture is starting to add some depth. We're adding depth to our picture. And it's looking quite nice. Quite nice. In fact, I'm going to keep these boards kind of going this way, keeping in mind the vanishing point. Kind of cheating it, but whatever. Good. Good. Ha! Love it! In fact, I don't want that little square up there, so what I'm going to do is kind of desaturate, or just get rid of that. Get rid of that crap. Have that nice stark light from there, showing our light source. And let's go ahead and make sure we have some nice highlights back here. Especially around our focal points, which is Tank's head and Nico as well. Oh, don't want that. Alright. Alright then. Add in some little details here. I found a really good way to make your skies look detailed without having to do much is just take these colors right here and then just add a bunch of little, like as it gets closer to the horizon line, just add all these little details like that, right? And then as it comes up more towards here, you can get a little bit more loose with it as the clouds come closer. Get loose with it, get loose with it, get loose with it. And voila, you have, look at all that detail. Oh my gosh. But it's really just a clever trick. Ha ha, you have tricked your audience. That's all I've been doing to you this whole time. It's just been tricking you. Tricking you into thinking that I can talk. Oh, that looks great. That looks great. And then, by contrast, you can just come right on back. Bring it right on back. Let's actually, I don't want this roof to be in that good of condition. I want there to be like some edges kind of sticking out. You know, make it look a little more beat up. Not to mention we have the light that's hitting here, right? There's going to be a little bit of light hitting there, and it's going to be reflecting back up to there. So don't forget about your reflected light. Never forget. Much better. Much better. Let's go ahead and throw that in for our perspective reference. Good. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. We've gone from that to that, right? Awesome, isn't it? Isn't that great how you can create a scene and add so much to your environment just by doing that? Now we have a complete scene. And that makes me so happy. And the cool thing about that is that once you set up a scene like this where you can see all the things that's going around, then you can have less detailed scenes like this. Like I could actually leave this panel like that. I mean, I'll add a little bit of detail to it. But I could actually leave that panel like that and get away with it because you've already seen this here. And then when you have just like a less detailed background to work with, your mind automatically begins to fill in, you know, what's there. And that's very, very nice. In fact, I could get away with that panel and that panel. But in interest of just being nice, you know, because there's still quality, still questions of quality that I like to have, you know, even though people might not notice it. I like to go in there and just go that extra mile. But at the same time, you want to make sure that, you know, you're getting the biggest bang for your buck. You know, if it's going to be delaying the comic for another couple weeks then to like do all the backgrounds over, then obviously I'm not going to do that. You know, I don't have time to do that. Well, I do have time, but I don't want to make people wait any longer than they already have. So, I won't. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and finish these puppies up. Throwing in little details here, right? We could add a little bit of like grayness to the sky. I think that's always nice. Adding that blue into the sky, right? I think that always helps. Yes. Have that nice bright yellow back here. And again, remember, as I said, as you get more towards the horizon line, start throwing in your little details. Throw in those little details into the clouds and make them look a lot more detailed than they really are. It's little spots of color. A little spot of color is all you need. And see, look at that. From that to that. Seems small, but it makes a big difference. Just feels more complete, you know? There's more colors. There's a better range of colors in there. Even though I just added this and that. You know? It's no longer just orange. Now it's a little bit of orange, a little bit of blue, a little bit of green. Right? And that makes us jolly and happy. And we love being jolly and happy. So before we continue, I'm going to take a short break. And, yeah, get a drink of water. Until then, let's do a little mini questionnaire. So go ahead and answer, or throw some questions to the side while I get a drink. And close these doors. And then we will continue. Oh, man. This week has been very good. What a good week. Good week. Hmm. Yes, Leshy. Nico's final outfit was heavily inspired. It's stolen. It's stolen from you. I was like, those colors are nice. Those colors are really nice. I think I'm just gonna take those. Thank you. You'll definitely be receiving a credit at the end of this issue because you helped me concept these things. Concept artist. Let's see, what are you guys doing? Hey, Salamine is asking, why am I drinking? Because I need a break. Lately, I've been noticing that I have not been taking enough breaks in life. And that sounds funny, right? Because and this will actually lead into something, um, as many things do. But I've noticed that I've been talking a lot about keeping a journal lately, right? And the importance of kind of planning your day, right? And what I've been doing is these past four days, I've actually just been writing everything that's been happening. From the time that I wake up, I write down, okay, just woke up, here's what I'm going to do next. Then I write down what I did, right? If it's like go downstairs, make some kicks, drink some almond milk and make some kicks for myself. And I love cakes and almond milk. Oh, so good. Or oatmeal. And that's really awesome, right? I'm going to go ahead and switch back to this so you have something to look at. And that's really awesome. But I've noticed that I've been listening to lately a book by Dale Carnegie, which is called Stop Worrying and Start Living. And he talks a lot about how people can actually get more stuff done throughout the day if they rest properly. Right? I think there's a story in there where he relates it. And there's these men that are in charge of like moving these basically like bars of iron, I think, like tons of bars of iron throughout the day, right? And normally I think they would be moving about 16. He said they would normally be moving about 16 bars of iron throughout the day, right? But then he coached them. I think he sat with them or talked to the boss, and basically what he had them do was he had the guys move like a set of these bars, right? And then take a rest for a couple minutes. And then move another set of bars and then rest for a couple minutes. Normally they were able to move about 12 to 16 tons of this ore, right? Or this iron stuff or whatever. And with this new resting technique, at the end of each set, they were able to move 46 tons. That's almost 4 times the amount of work that they did in one day just because they changed their pattern of how they were working. And I really hope I told that story right. Regardless of whatever type of bars they were moving, let's say they were golden bars, right? Moving gold bars. And just the sheer weight of them. Moving tons. Could you imagine moving tons of gold bars throughout the day? Like, that would just be crazy. But just because of the change of the pattern of how you work, you're able to move 4 times as much by resting between your intervals of work. So that's what I've been doing lately, and I've been keeping track of it. This goes right back into the journal, right? Been keeping track of how I spend my breaks, right? And what I'm noticing is that I get a lot more done throughout the day. And another cool thing about it is I don't get distracted as easily. Before I'd just be like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to work on the comic, right? And then I just go ahead and start working. And then, I'd work for a few hours, maybe if I'm lucky. And then I'd get distracted by some YouTube video. I'm like, ooh, what is that? Or some Yahoo News thing, right? Those things always get me. It's like, watch this fat cat swim in a pool. I'd be like, I need to see that. And then, of course, one video leads to another, and before you know it, you're completely distracted, and an hour's gone by, and then you're totally ticked off at yourself because you said you wanted to work today, and you're not. So I got kind of tired of that. And what happens is by recording these things in the journal is that basically I write out exactly what I'm doing and what I plan to do. And it's almost like I break down my day into smaller chunks. It's like, okay, I do this and this and this, rest. Then during that rest, it's so funny because during that resting time, I'm actually thinking about stuff to make my work more efficient. And I come up with all these cool ideas about how to improve the value of what I'm doing, what I'm giving out, and how to make things faster. And I think that is where the real magic comes in, is when you're resting, you want to almost like give yourself permission, give your body the permission to really relax, right? And it's really mostly in your muscles and in your eyes, I've heard. You really want to just like relax your eyes, pretend you're like a limp sock or something, right? One of those old grandpa socks, that go up to their knees. You pretend you're one of those and just like throw it down on the ground and that's you. You're just like that, right? So I do that. Every hour, I'll rest for about 15, 20 minutes. And it's actually really, really amazing. So for those of you who say you struggle with procrastination, artist block, all this stuff, I can sit here and talk about journals until I'm blue in the face, but really, I mean, I didn't believe it until I went out and actually got it, until I literally went to Barnes & Noble, got myself a journal, and started writing in it. And it takes a couple tries. Like, I was like, okay, I'm going to write about my day today. I'm going to write about everything that happens. Then I write one thing, and then I forget about it, right? So it's going to take a couple times. Don't get discouraged. Don't be like, oh, well, I can't do it, and then just give up. You want to really stick to it and be like, okay, I'm just going to try it again tomorrow. And really, I think what did it for me was I made it my priority. I made writing in my journal my priority. And it's so funny how literally, like, when something significant happens, I'll be like, oh, I gotta write that in my journal. And I usually have it either in my pocket. You know how you usually keep your cell phone in your pocket? Now I keep my journal in my pocket, you know, over my cell phone, or I keep it in my man bag when I'm outside. And it's just I've made it so important. I've made it so important that I write down the things throughout my day that need to be written down. And the other magical thing about that is that I've realized when you work from paper, it takes such a burden off of your mind. It takes so much, like you just write down, even just writing down goals, writing down what you want to do throughout the day. It takes such a huge burden off your mind because you're no longer thinking about, okay, I said I was going to do this and this and this and this today, and you store that all up here. Instead, it's right here, and you don't have to think about anything throughout the day. All you got to do is just be like, oh, okay, I said I was going to do this and this and this. You have a little checklist, and it feels so good at the end of the day. Part of the fun of having a checklist is checking it off, right? So you got to use that to your advantage. It is really fun to be, you know, come to the end of your day and be like, I did that, I did that, I did that, and check it all off. And again, I think the real beauty of it, the real magic of it is that you're not working from your head anymore. You're working from paper. It's much, much easier to stay concentrated and focused throughout the day. So anybody who really I know journals, you know, there's like a, you know, who writes in journals? You know, that's for girls. Diaries, psh, whatever. No, I write in a journal, and I'm proud to say it now. Anybody else who wants to knock it can suck it with some holiday cheer. Okay? Okay. All right, so I'm liking that. Wow, that was great. Let's throw in those little details there. Let's throw in some little details as we get closer to the horizon, remember? Closer to the horizon with the clouds means extra detail. Extra little dots here and there, right? Simulating mind-melting detail. Really, it's just a cheap trick. Cheap trick. Cheap clown trick. Woo! Love it! Alright guys, so again, let's pay attention. Going from that to that. Amazing, isn't it? Amazing what a little bit of extra color, a little bit of extra time does for your piece. And it's more just, I think it's just the variation. Your eyes love variation, even if they're just slight, right? So your eyes just like, ooh, what's that? Ooh, what's that? It's different. This is like real life. There's variety in real life. There's variety here. It's easier for your reader to buy into it. I feel that is the reason why it looks better when you mix in just slightly different variations into your backgrounds. And in general, just your composition and your palette of your piece. Alrighty. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to go ahead and continue with this. I'm going to throw in some light here. I want this trail to be a little bit darker. I want to make sure it's not the same color as the sky. I want the trail to be a little bit more like reddish, almost. Yeah, there we go. That's the ticket. Yeah. I'm so excited for this to come out. That's my happy dance, dude. Especially when I'm drawing, I get distracted in my resting time. It's fine. See, that's the thing, is it's okay to get distracted in your resting time. Just make sure that you have like a set rest, right? Like you can, I mean, here's the other thing, is that when you want to rest doesn't mean watching YouTube videos. Rest means literally you either I will do my workouts, throughout the day, you know, like the little rubber band thing, I know I show you guys this all the time, but just for those of you who are new here, I use this little rubber band thing, and I'll stretch it against like a door, and I'll just do my workouts throughout the day, right? I don't do this, but you know what I'm saying. It's like I put it on the door, and then I'll pull it back. It's like the poor man's Bowflex. That's what I like to call it. So I do that. I'll rest my hand, you know, my wrist. I'll like massage it. I'll basically take this racquetball because I get, and you guys will notice this, especially for those of you who get into working as a professional for an artist, is that there's going to be pain in your wrist, but also there's going to be a lot of pain in your back, right? Because you're constantly like stabilizing. It's all the stabilizer muscles in your back here. So I'll set this bad boy on the ground and then just lay on it and just move my back all over the place, and it feels so good. It actually tickles at some points. It makes me laugh. We're like, ooh, that tickles. All right, guys. So now that we've been working with this color, I don't know. What do you guys want to do next? I guess the next thing that I would do is I would start kind of just going in and refining a couple of the edges. Like that's one last thing that I like to do. The final touch to the background. So I can do that if you want. Or I could lay in some of the chat bubbles, I suppose. If you guys would like that. Let's go and label this properly. Oh, whoops. Yeah, going back. Now I'm being distracted by Black Ops. That's another thing I used to get distracted by. I'd be like, oh, I have this idea, and I don't know, because I think the magic is that I didn't plan it. I didn't plan to play Black Ops today, so I just don't do it. Does that make sense? It's so weird how, you know, you don't always plan to play it, but it's like you're less aimless, right? You just know what you're going to be doing throughout the day. I love that. Love it. Love it. Okay. So let's go ahead and duplicate the background, and I'm going to go ahead and merge it all into one. Save that as the old background, and yeah. Let's go ahead and start our final overpowered layer. Chat. Poizu, yes, it's exactly as you think it looks like. Me basically like rolling on the ground laughing. That's what you call raffling. Raffling is setting this ball on the ground and rolling on it. Alright, some of you guys are actually saying chat bubbles, so I think I will do chat bubbles. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and pull that open. It's funny, like the background that's usually, you know, supposed to be behind me is gone. And that's because there's like a glitch with XSplit and it like died and it killed the background. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the old things here. Let's just get our chat bubbles out. Chat bubbles out, please. Yes, yes, yes. Alright. So basically what I do for chat bubbles is, again, this is also saving time, right? Because I put all of my chat bubbles, I made them once. I made the chat bubbles once, and they're on page 1 of issue 1. How about that? And then basically all I do is I just drag the balloons, right? So let's say I want edged balloon and soft balloon. Let's grab both of these and drag them over here. Did they go there? Uh-oh. Yeah, they need to be on the top there. On top, never stop. Okay, cool. Save that. And the reason why I saved out my bubbles once and then didn't want to draw them over again, because it just really gets old, like drawing bubbles over and over and over again. But what's cool about this is that I made them once, and it's basically, here I'll show you exactly how they work. In case you guys are looking to do comics of your own, here's a little trick that I like to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of the edge balloon, and I'll show you my soft balloon. Sometimes in comics they tend to make their soft balloons like perfect circles, but I kind of like the ones that are kind of like rounded edges. They're almost like rectangles, but they're kind of puffy. They're kind of like marshmallows, and I really like that. So that was how I decided to make mine, and I made that with the pen tool, right? I just kind of did this, and then I kind of, you know, rounded the edges and fixed it up to my liking, right? Obviously not with the point there, but you know what I'm saying. But the way that I do this, and this is what gets really cool, is that I can resize this balloon to whatever size I want, right? And the cool thing about that is that the stroke on it will always stay at 10 pixels wide. And the reason that is because the shape that we're working with right here, right, is basically just a white circle, right? That's the shape that we're working with. And then I've put an effect on it that puts a stroke on it, right? You can see right there. And basically all I did was I just went into the blending styles, went to stroke, and put a 10 pixel right there, 10 pixel stroke on it. And that allows me to basically resize this to whatever shape I want. And no matter how I shape it, the pixels on the stroke will always be the same. They won't deform and they won't look cheesy, right? And that allows me to very, very easily get that done. Get her done. Okay, and then the other cool thing is that once I set up my balloon in the way that I want it to be, basically all I'll do is I'll come in here with the pen tool and I usually draw it from the center towards the mouth and kind of find that midpoint from here to the mouth. Where's that midpoint? Right about there, right? And then I'll begin making my tail, right? So that's how I make my tails. Then I will right-click that, click Make Selection, and then hit Yes to that. And then all I do is I grab white, Shift F5, fill it, and bam, look at that. Because I've added to this shape, it automatically knows to stroke that as well. Right? So that's how I make my balloons. And it's very, very, very simple. Hassle-free, makes me feel good. Alright, but the first thing I do before I just throw in the balloons is I have to throw in the text. And we will be working with that right now. So the font that I use is something called Unmasked. It is a free font from the amazing people over at Blambot Studios. You just look up blambot.com, I think they're blambot.com. If not, just type in Blambot in Google. It'll give it to you. And then you can cruise over to their free font section. They have all kinds of cool comic fonts that you can use. And yes, I use this one right here, Unmasked. And the size of the font, I think, is 16 with 13-point spacing. Okay, whoops. I forgot I set the keys. I forgot I set the hotkeys to that. Alright, although I don't know if we're going to have any spacing here, or I don't know if we're going to have any need for that. Okay, so let's just throw in, this is going to be kind of placeholder text right now because I need to consult the script really quick before I do that, but I know he says something to the effect of, why did we stop? Alright, like that. And then basically what I do with the soft balloon is I kind of bring it in so it hugs kind of the edges. You want to think about that O. If that was placed right like on all the edges of this, you want the balloon to be touching that, right? So you got O there. Okay, that's good. That's good. O right about there. And that's how I basically fill the balloon with enough air, you know, so it looks good. So I'll start with stuff like this, right? And then I'll usually group these into, you know, their own respective things. Like I'll group this into one. That way I can move it around as I please. Oh. So I can move this around as I please, basically wherever I want. I'll probably put it right, I'll probably just put it right there. You want to think about like the line of action. Like how are people going to read this? You know, they're going to go from here to here. They're probably going to look at him first because his face is mostly clear, and then it's going to go right through there. So yeah, probably end up placing it right there. Now we're going to move on to Tank. Now the way that I think of edged balloons, the reason why I'm going to give Tank an edged balloon is because he is going to be speaking in a more like authoritative kind of voice, right? And for characters with more authority, or they're speaking more rigidly, I'll give them sharper bubbles, right? And also I do this when I'm not connecting the bubble to their mouth, right? Like I'm not going to draw a little tail kind of going into his mask because, you know, he's the only character there, so he can easily infer that he's the one speaking. And alright, so let's go ahead and draw in Tanks what he's saying. He's going to say something to the effect of, time to prove your worth. Alright. Now let's see, do I want to do this, or do I want it to be one line? I've been lately kind of favoring like these one-line things, especially when the characters are speaking, you know, directly, or it's the only character on the screen. Kind of like it because it feels more like dramatic. So what I'm going to end up doing here is, again, I'm going to stretch the balloon to fit this. Although this might not work because I feel like it might be covering up a little bit too much of Tank. Well, it's not too bad. So basically you want to start playing around with, oh, that looks kind of cool too, like right in the center. A little off, up here, there. That's a place where you don't want to put it. Let's try that. And yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab our soft balloon once again, and let's bring that right down here, because we're going to make Nico saying something again right here. I'll probably place it right around here. Alright, because we want to make sure we see Tank back there. He's like fiddling with something, and he's looking this way, right? So again, people will go from here. You want to think about where people's eyes are going. You want to make it really easy for them. So they're going to go here, here to here, and they're going to follow their way right up to here. So it's going to be good to, in fact, I wonder if I want that there. Because their eyes are going to go there, maybe I do want it up here. I don't know. And there, yeah, I don't like that. Unfortunately, I think that's just the place it has to go. Alright. And then Nico's going to say, what? Right now? Yeah, right now? Yeah. Or what here? You know, obviously he's looking back at the house. This is going to be good. I'm so excited for this. Alright, again, let's fit that balloon so it has the right amount of air in it. Think about those O's on the edges. Basically, yeah, O's not only around just the edges, but like here too. You know, I want to make sure that there's an O there. And again, because of that, I think I want to make this just a little bit bigger. I'm so picky. There we go. That's more like it. Alright, now let's throw on our tails. And then, guys, we're going to go ahead and open up the floodgates, the question catapults. You guys are going to submit your questions. What are you guys saying over here? Elvenzorn, are the streams now on at 6 p.m.? No, they're on at the same time. Same old time, same old place. Did you not set your watch back? Or forward? I think it's forward. Did you not set your... Yeah, spring forward. Did you not set your watch forward? You need to fix that. Alright, guys, we're going to move on to tails. We're going to do tails, and then, yes. Go ahead and ask any questions that you have in the chat to your right. Chat to your right. And then I'll answer them. And then we'll end day 33 of the KNKL and a stream. Alright, guys, so again, with your tails, always think about it exuding itself from the, or extracting itself from the center of your balloon. You don't want it coming off the edge here. You want to think about it if it was tied from the center, right? And then go from here to the mouth and that center point, right about there. And then what I'm doing there is I'm alt-clicking that to get rid of that other Bezier, as it's called. I'm drawing this thing right back there. Right-click it, make selection, hit OK, and then fill that bad boy up with some white. Yeah. And again, remember, always have your balloons pointing to their mouth because that is where your characters speak from. They don't speak from their eyes or their ears or their feet. They speak from their mouths. So make sure you got that going. No need to worry about that. And let's go ahead and draw our bubble here as well. In fact, I'll just make this whole group balloons. Spelt wrong, but that's okay. Balloons. Alright, again, from the center to his mouth, halfway point is right about there. I'm trying to think of how I want this thing to curve. Do I want it to go around like this, or do I want it to come under? I think I want it to go around. So I think I'm going to end it right. I'm going to have it go like that. Good. And good. Now let's make that selection and fill it. Boom, baby. And also notice how I have that balloon like going into, making sure that it crosses his helmet. It doesn't end right on the edge of the helmet, because that's a bad tangent right there. Okay? You want to make sure that you have your chat balloons going right over, you know, whatever they're supposed to be covering. So that's not bad. Although I kind of want it to be a little shorter. I kind of want it to end like right there. I don't know, maybe I'm just being picky. But I love it when you start putting in like words and chat and all that stuff, because it really starts to bring your characters to life. I really, really like that. It's like one of my favorite parts of the comic. It's the final little touches. I'm just going to leave it for now. These are more like placeholders, and we might end up like changing the bubbles and all that stuff over again, so I don't want to worry about all that right now. But it is something that I'll keep in mind and in journal, because we have learned the importance of that. Alrighty. Poizu is asking a great question. He's asking, or he or she, I don't know what gender you are, but your icon looks like a little cute thing, so I'm assuming you're a girl. Or just a guy that likes cute things. I'm a guy that likes cute things too. Nothing wrong with that. It asks, Poizu is asking, do you find it hard to work? Do you find it hard to make time to work on the comic? At first I did. At first I did, obviously, when I was working at Riot, because obviously I was like, okay, I'm going to work all day on this, and then I'm going to go home and do more of the same thing, right? I'm going to draw all day, then I'm going to go home and draw all night. You know, it just doesn't work that way. There's only so much that your wrists and your back can handle. Although if I was employing proper rest techniques while I was at work and at home, I probably could have been doing a little bit of a better job. But I realized that I wanted to get this thing out now, and I wanted to start this business now, and I wanted it with such, I don't know, I just wanted it so badly that I was just ready to give my full-time job up for it, right? I was like, all right, this has been an awesome experience. I've learned a lot. Now I'm going to take everything that I've learned, I'm going to put it into my own business. I'm going to make this comic. Because another thing that I realized was my time was running out. You know, I'm getting to that age where, you know, I mean, some people at my age start getting married, you know, making kids and all that. Making kids, I love that. And if I had a wife and children, obviously I couldn't do this. So I realized, all right, it's time to do something crazy now while I'm single, and all I got to worry about is me and my tacos from Del Taco, which you guys have been buying very, very well to this point. Thank you guys so much for all the support you've been giving to the comic. It's really, really awesome. I feel like the business is off to a great start. Like, I cannot say how excited and just how much faith I have in this business. I think it's going to be really great. But in the end, I know that my major goal, like, I already consider myself a success, because my major goal, my main goal, was just to make the comic. To make the comic for myself. And I wanted to just sit there at the end of my life and just read my story. And anybody else who wants to read it and see the process, see the change that happens within me along the way, I invite you to do that, because it might just inspire you to do something of your own. And I got to tell you, making a comic, doing this thing, starting my own business, is the most gratifying and amazing point in my life. Even though I'm just filled with all this uncertainty, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay for certain things at certain times, you know? But that's kind of the way life is a lot of times. So why not have some fun doing it and take the chance of, like, investing in your future? You know what I mean? Take the chance now and invest in your future, because if it pays off, I really believe that it will, no matter what you do. If you just try to do something, even if it fails, right? Like with my first business, it failed. But everything I learned with that first business benefited this business like amazingly. And I'm so happy that that was the business that failed and it wasn't this one. So happy. All right. So next up, Julian Brocker's asking, did you change the standard stylus pressure settings? I always have to lower the brush opacity myself. Actually, the way the Wacom Intuos 4 works, I actually like the brush settings on it. However, if you're using a Cintiq, I find that it's a little, you have to press a little bit harder. So I ended up reducing the pressure sensitivity on that, or increasing it, whatever makes it so I don't have to press as hard on the Cintiq. All right. Okay, you are a girl. Okay, sweet. Poizu, you are a lovely lady. As far as raising the character limit in the chat, I don't know exactly how I can do that. I think I have to pay for an account on Ustream, which eventually I can look into doing to increase the quality of the channel. Because yes, I have noticed that there's only a certain amount of characters you can you can only type so many. And I was reading a question at the same time. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, if there are no more questions, we're going to go ahead and end today's daily. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. I know today is Thursday, so there's no daily tomorrow. But you guys are going to have a great weekend. We're all going to have a great weekend. Yeah, party on, party on, party on, party on. And one more time before we take off, I want to say a special thank you to everyone who has donated for this month. All these lovely people on this list. If you'd like to get your name on the list, simply go to the Emma site and donate as much or as little, and I will put you on here. Alright guys, for those of you on YouTube, thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. My name is Kenan Lafferty. You guys have yourself a great weekend, and I'll see you all on Monday. Till then, you guys take care.